Barack Obama had just finished a speech that held the entire room's attention. His words had landed deeply, leaving people thoughtful and quiet. Then Donald Trump stepped onto the stage, loud, bold, and clearly trying to take charge. What followed surprised everyone. Obama's calm and precise response didn't just stop Trump in his tracks. It left the audience stunned. It was one of those moments people remember for years. The atmosphere that night was intense but controlled. It wasn't noisy or chaotic. It felt tight, almost electric, as if everyone sensed something important was about to unfold, even if they couldn't explain it. Guests sat at round tables decorated with rich colors and clean designs. Glasses reflected the soft light, and silverware was placed neatly. Low conversations filled the room, mixed with quiet expectations and watchful eyes moving from person to person. The event was meant to be formal and respectful, with a touch of light humor. It was the kind of gathering where powerful people tried to look relaxed. Jokes were shared, but every word still carried weight. You could smile, but you never forgot where you were or who might be paying attention. At the center of it all stood Barack Obama. He had spoken without rushing. He never raised his voice or tried to dominate the room. Instead, he spoke with the confidence of someone who knew exactly who he was. His tone was calm, steady, and assured. His posture was relaxed yet strong. Every word was chosen carefully, clear without feeling heavy. Obama talked about responsibility, not the kind people mention just to sound smart, but the kind that shapes daily decisions. He spoke about the responsibility of leading a nation, of acting even when the truth is complicated, and of choosing patience when anger feels easier. His message was simple, yet powerful. He explained what it means to carry the trust of millions and remain steady under pressure without losing yourself. At times, he paused, not because he was unsure, but because he understood the power of silence. The room stayed completely focused. No plates moved. No whispers interrupted. Some listened with admiration, others with careful judgment, and some tried to guess what his words might lead to next. But everyone agreed on one thing. Obama was in full control of his words, his presence, and the room itself. When he finished, he lifted his eyes briefly, as if saying, "Thank you," without speaking. He stepped back and gave a small nod. The applause that followed wasn't loud or wild. It was steady and respectful, the kind that says, "That mattered." As the applause faded, glasses were raised and quiet conversations returned. But something had changed in the air. It felt sharper, tense, as if something else was about to happen. That's because another man in the room was preparing himself, Donald Trump. He sat several tables away, dressed sharply, shoulders stiff, jaw tight. While others clapped, he barely moved. His eyes never left Obama, as if he wasn't just watching a speech, but facing a challenge. This was before Trump became president, but everyone already knew him. His reputation went far beyond business. He was known for speaking without holding back, for saying things others only hinted at, and for choosing confrontation over caution. And now his moment was coming. Trump was never known for subtlety. He liked attention and knew exactly how to take it when he wanted. The tension between him and Obama hadn't started that night. It had been building for a long time. No one needed to say it out loud. Everyone already knew. There had been public remarks, sharp comments, and challenges made in front of cameras and crowds. Headlines had followed them for weeks. Trump had often questioned Obama in ways that went beyond politics and felt personal. So while most guests slowly returned to their meals and quiet conversations, Trump waited. He had been waiting long before this evening. Obama's speech might have ended, but the night was nowhere near finished. Someone handed Trump a microphone. The gesture seemed casual, almost routine, but it instantly changed the mood. Conversations stopped halfway through sentences. Attention shifted without effort. Trump stood up, not calmly, not patiently, but with the energy of someone stepping into a moment he had been preparing for. It felt as if everything leading up to this had been a build-up to what he was about to say. He walked toward the stage slowly, not out of doubt, but to let the focus grow. Eyes followed him, some curious, some uneasy, some already tense. Obama took his seat. He didn't lean forward or stiffen. He didn't look away. He simply watched. That quiet confidence made the moment even stronger. It showed that control doesn't always need movement or words. When Trump reached the microphone, everyone knew the tone was about to change. He looked focused, determined, like someone who had been waiting for this exact opportunity and had no intention of letting it slip by. People shifted slightly in their chairs. Shoulders straightened. The room grew still. Trump was not there to match Obama's calm style. Obama had spoken with patience and thoughtful pauses. Trump's presence promised something sharper, faster, and far more direct. He began speaking, and the atmosphere changed instantly. There was no polite greeting, no acknowledgement of the speech before him. His words came out quickly and forcefully, filled with the energy of opinions he had been holding on to for a long time. He went straight at Obama's record, not with careful arguments or comparisons, but with bold accusations. He blamed Obama for failures, accused him of breaking trust, and claimed he ignored what people truly needed. His sentences didn't flow like a structured speech. They landed one after another, hard and fast. The audience didn't interrupt. They didn't applaud either. They listened, and the tension grew. As Trump continued, his voice grew stronger. He criticized Obama's decisions, calling them wrong, careless, and weak. He didn't soften his tone out of respect or tradition. He wanted his words to cut. He wanted the challenge to be felt. Then he shifted from attacking decisions to attacking Obama personally. The room changed again. Not loudly, but noticeably. A quiet discomfort settled in, the kind that comes when someone crosses an unspoken line. Trump questioned Obama's calmness and composure, claiming it wasn't confidence, but a mask hiding weakness. He questioned his sincerity, his motives, and whether his leadership was genuine or simply an act. Some people looked down. Others glanced at Obama, waiting for a reaction. A few watched Trump closely, wondering how far he planned to go. Trump didn't slow down. His energy kept rising. His gestures grew stronger. His voice pressed harder. He blamed Obama for problems far beyond any single leader. He tied every issue he could think of directly to Obama's name. He spoke without hesitation, restraint, or pause. He wanted to take over the space. He wanted to overpower everything that had come before him. He wanted to prove something, whether to the audience, to Obama, or to himself. No one could say. Throughout it all, Obama remained still. No anger, no reaction, just calm observation. And that stillness made Trump's intensity feel even louder. When one person speaks with fire and the other stays silent, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. The room could feel the tension rise, not in volume, but in focus. Trump had shifted the evening from calm reflection into something far more charged. Trump pushed the moment into open confrontation without any pause. Then something changed. He began to repeat himself. His points stopped growing. They circled back on themselves. His voice stayed loud, but the structure of his message started to fall apart. The words kept coming, yet their impact slowly weakened. Some people leaned back in their chairs. They realized this was no longer a discussion. It wasn't even a debate. It was a show of force, emotion-driven, loud, and certain, but lacking clarity. Obama remained completely still, and the longer he stayed that way, the clearer it became that the real power of the moment wasn't in Trump's words. It was in Obama's silence. Trump ended with one last sharp line, aimed straight at Obama's character. It was meant to embarrass, to strip dignity from the room. But when his voice finally stopped, there was no applause. There was only a pause. A heavy pause. Because the room was no longer focused on Trump. It was waiting for Obama. Every eye turned. Every breath slowed. Trump had filled the space with noise. Now the moment belonged to silence. And inside that silence, the balance of power shifted. Obama sat calmly, hands resting easily, face relaxed, not frozen, not tense. He looked like someone who fully understood the situation and knew exactly what he would do next. He wasn't rushing. There was no need to. Trump's breathing was still fast. His shoulders moved with the leftover energy of his own speech. His expression showed both satisfaction and impatience. He wanted a reaction. Any reaction. Something he could grab onto. Obama didn't give him one. Not yet. Then slowly, Obama stood up. No drama. No sudden movement. Just standing. The kind of confidence that doesn't announce itself, but fills the room anyway. He stepped forward. His eyes stayed on Trump, but his posture was steady, grounded, unshaken by noise, untouched by aggression. When Obama spoke, his voice was low and even. Calm. Clear. You spoke with a lot of certainty. The sentence hung in the air. Simple words, carefully placed. Obama didn't match Trump's tone. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't rush. He spoke like someone who understood that strength isn't proven by volume, but by control. You spoke about leadership, Obama continued, and about guiding others. He paused. The room leaned in. But you also spoke about me personally, about my character, my family, my choices. No sarcasm, no tension, just facts. I listened, he said, every word. He leaned forward slightly, not as a threat, but to be heard more clearly. You seem very confident, Obama said softly, when speaking about my personal life. Something shifted again. Not anger, not irritation, clarity. Trump's face tightened just a little. A small change, but noticeable. You spoke as though you fully understand how I live, Obama continued, calm and measured, how I love, and how I relate to the people closest to me. Another pause. Short, intentional. So let me ask you something. No one moved. The air felt stretched thin. Obama's question came gently, but it landed hard. It was deeply personal, unexpected. The kind of question no one imagined would be asked in that room, in that tone, especially not by Obama. The silence that followed wasn't just quiet. It was stunned. Trump's confidence slipped, not all at once, but slowly. Like a mask loosening. He opened his mouth to respond, but no words came out. His jaw shifted. His hands tightened. His eyes moved quickly, searching for something. An answer, a distraction, a way to take control back. But for the first time that night, the room wasn't waiting on him. It was watching him. But the room remembered. Everyone remembered that interview from years earlier. The offhand remark that never truly disappeared. The one that stayed in public memory like a shadow, never fully gone, only waiting to be brought back into the light. Obama didn't repeat it. He didn't need to. The question he asked was enough. In that moment, everyone understood what lay beneath it. The silence stretched. Trump's breathing lost its rhythm. The confidence he had walked in with was shaken, and he couldn't recover it right away. Obama, meanwhile, stood completely still, calm, unhurried, untouched by the tension he had just created. That calm was what cut the deepest. Trump had charged the stage with force. Obama answered quietly. And somehow, the quiet landed harder. The room sensed it immediately. Something important had shifted. Not through volume or aggression, but through precision. And the night was far from over. The audience held its breath. Every eye stayed fixed on the stage. Trump had finished his attack loud, sharp, and fueled by anger. He had tried to unsettle Obama, to crack the confidence that made him such a respected figure. For a brief moment, it felt like the energy belonged to him. But Obama didn't rush. He didn't shout. He didn't react. He waited. There's a rare kind of strength in patience, and Obama carried it easily. The crowd could feel it. The tension grew thick, almost physical. Every small sound in the room felt louder. In those seconds, Obama's silence spoke more clearly than any speech could. Then he began to talk. His voice was steady and measured. No fear. No urgency. Every word carried weight, carefully placed, deliberate. He addressed Trump directly, but without aggression. Instead, he chose clarity. What you've just shown, Obama said calmly, is why accountability matters. The room leaned in. Even those expecting a heated clash were caught off guard by the control in his delivery. He didn't attack. He didn't escalate. He simply pointed to a truth that had been hanging in the air all along. This wasn't just about two men. It was about responsibility, about integrity, about the difference between saying anything you want and standing for something meaningful. Trump tried to interrupt. His voice rose. Familiar bluster returned. But Obama didn't move. He held his ground. And every interruption only sharpened the contrast between them. One loud and reactive, the other composed and unshaken. The balance of power was shifting. Not through force. Not through volume, through control. Then came the moment no one expected. After establishing his authority, Obama delivered his most pointed line, not long, not dramatic, but devastating in its implication. A simple question, tied to Trump's own public words from the past. The effect was immediate. Silence fell, not calm silence, but stunned silence. A pause as the room tried to process what had just happened. Some people gasped. Others laughed nervously. Trump froze. For the first time, he had no instant response. The confidence that once carried him faltered. His usual defenses failed. He searched for footing, but the ground had shifted beneath him. This wasn't just a clever remark. It was timing, awareness, precision. Obama had read the room, measured the moment, and turned Trump's own history into a mirror. The audience understood it instantly. This wasn't a cheap jab. It was accountability in its purest form. A tense, aggressive attack had been transformed into a moment of clarity. Proof that composure and sharp thinking can overpower even the loudest confrontation. Trump opened his mouth to reply, but the words didn't come. For the first time that night, the stage was no longer his. The energy had fully changed. The difference was now impossible to miss. The man who had tried to dominate the room was suddenly on the defensive. The man who had stayed calm now held the audience's full attention, respect, and quiet admiration. Obama didn't rush to add more. He didn't need to. He let the silence carry the weight of what had already been said. That was the power of his response. Not volume, not aggression, precision, timing, and a truth that had landed squarely where it was meant to. Everyone in the room could see it. This was accountability in real time. A moment where calm intelligence clearly outperformed raw aggression. When Obama spoke again, his tone stayed steady and controlled. He reinforced his point without lowering himself into insults or chaos. He reminded everyone, Trump included, of a simple principle. If you choose to attack, you must be ready to face the consequences. The message landed without shouting, without anger, without loss of control. What held the room wasn't drama. It was contrast. Obama's measured response showed something timeless. True strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's about awareness, timing, and the courage to speak clearly when others rely on noise. Trump, for the first time that night, seemed unsure of what to do next. The moment after Obama's pointed question lingered like a storm cloud. Trump wasn't prepared for it. For decades, he had relied on volume, confidence, and force to control conversations. But none of that worked here. Obama's calm precision had knocked him off balance. Trump looked around the room, searching for support, an ally, a reaction, anything. He found none. The audience stayed silent, watching. The pressure showed. His confident exterior cracked. Then came the outburst. Trump raised his voice, sharp and aggressive, as if volume could erase what had just happened. He deflected. He repeated himself. He pointed fingers. He tried to turn the focus back on Obama, but it didn't land. His words felt scattered and reactive. Each attempt to regain control only made his frustration more visible. The audience saw it clearly now. One man was reacting. The other was leading. Trump's anger had no direction. He was no longer steering the moment. He was responding to it. And the contrast couldn't have been sharper. Calm versus chaos. Control versus impulse. Obama remained unshaken. He waited until Trump's energy burned itself out. Then he spoke again, briefly, precisely. If you dish out, Obama said evenly, you've got to be able to take it. Otherwise, don't give it. The simplicity made it powerful. It wasn't just a comeback. It was a principle. A reminder that personal attacks come with responsibility. The room felt it instantly. Obama then carefully referenced Trump's own past words, linking the current confrontation to earlier public remarks that many had found troubling. He didn't exaggerate. He didn't insult. He exposed a pattern, a contradiction between image and behavior. The reaction was immediate: surprise, discomfort, understanding. This wasn't humiliation for its own sake. It was clarity, a reminder that when you question others personally, you invite the same scrutiny. Trump tried once more to regain control. He raised his voice again. He shifted topics. He attempted distraction. But it was too late. The dynamic was clear. One man stood composed, articulate, and firmly in command. The other struggled, visibly rattled, losing credibility by the second. Realizing the moment was slipping away, Trump attempted to exit, changing the subject, trying to retreat with some dignity intact. But even that move highlighted the shift. The audience saw it plainly. One man avoiding the consequences of his words, the other standing calmly in them. As Trump left the stage, the room stayed charged. Obama had shown that wit, timing, and calm authority could completely neutralize aggression. He proved that sharp, measured responses don't have to match chaos to defeat it. And he reminded everyone that accountability isn't optional, especially in public life. The moment stayed with the audience, not because it was loud, but because it was revealing. It wasn't just a verbal clash. It was a lesson in character, restraint, and presence under pressure. In the end, one truth was unmistakable. When faced with aggression, calm intelligence, sharp awareness, and well-chosen words don't just defend. They dominate. And everyone in that room knew they had witnessed it.